I'm here with Malcolm Williams, one of our longtime members at Henderson Highway Church. Malcolm, it is good to see you on this side of the microphone.
Yeah, good to see you too. Thanks for the opportunity.
So tell us, Malcolm, how did you come to know Jesus?
Oh, wow. I came to know, there's a couple of things. I came to know Jesus and to accept Jesus is two different things.
This is true.
Yeah. I knew Jesus from a child, from going to Sunday school and things like that. So I knew Jesus. But then accepted Jesus was a different story. You know, I accepted Jesus in my life when I was an adult.
So what was it about accepting Jesus that made it just click for you and you said, I got to take this plunge?
When I started having a family, before, you know, I knew and I would come to church and that, but when I started having a family, it clicks for me then, you know, because I wanted my children to grow up knowing the Lord and serving the Lord, so it brought me closer to accepting Jesus.
Wonderful. What are some aspects of ministry work that you enjoy most?
I enjoyed a few. I enjoyed teaching Sabbath school. I enjoyed when I was an elder. And I enjoyed very much visiting shut-ins. You know, I'm blessed when I go to visit. You know, little things that the shut-in will say. You know, I really enjoy that.
Awesome. What is some wisdom, some nuggets that you can share with our young people today?
There's a few. If you're in church, stay in church. Don't allow friends to take you out of church. Stay in church. Mingle with people in church. Mingle with the old people like myself. And get a good education. It's important you get a very good education. It'll take you through life.
Wonderful.
So stay in school and embrace opportunities that you get, especially from an educational point of view.
Wonderful. Malcolm, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. Yeah. I taught Sabrina in, what was it, youth?
Probably youth.
Probably
youth,
yeah. So it's good to see you.
Yeah, so I'm one of those that have followed your advice, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks very much. Yeah.
I'm here with Joyce Young, who is one of our longtime members here at Henderson Highway Church and affectionately known as Auntie Joyce to many of us and most of you. And so we just want to take an opportunity to hear some of your story. So tell us, Auntie Joyce, how did you come to know Jesus?
Well, first of all, I must say I'm happy to be here and to be in this interview. Actually, my mother was she was a converted Seventh-day Adventist. And she accepted Jesus even before I was born. So that's what happened.
Okay.
I became a born Seventh-day Adventist.
That's wonderful. And so is there a moment when, because sometimes as you're raised in the church or as you grew up knowing God, is there a moment where it clicked for you that Jesus was personal?
Well, I'll tell you from when I was small, as far back I could remember, at 4 years old, my grandmother was always eager to take me to church and teach me lessons and songs, hymns and stuff that I learned through her. And some of the words I didn't even know. And when I was a little girl, she used to sing, "When I Forgot My Agony," I think it's that song. And I couldn't pronounce the words, so I used to say, "When I Forget My Normani." So agony was Normani for me.
Lead me to Calvary.
Lead me to Calvary, yes.
And so tell us, what are some aspects of church service that you have done or of ministry that you have participated in since being here at Henderson Highway?
Here I became Dorothy Wallman. She encouraged me to work in the children's department and the juniors. So there's where I started. Yes.
Okay. And I know for many years when I was growing up, Vacation Bible School
Yes.
was your project.
Yes. Rudy Jacob was the Vacation Bible School leader at the time, and he was resigning from it, and he asked me if I would take it over.
Okay.
And that was an enjoyable experience.
And it's something that we still do now. Last
you're
week
right.
we celebrated and we just had our Vacation Bible School. Does it do your heart good to see some of these ministries still continue?
Yeah, it was something brought back a lot of memories. And, after you work in the service of the Lord in a department, it stays with you. And, I long to do it again, but, after a time you retire and that's it, yes.
So as you see our young people now, or any young people now, not just from our church, what is some encouragement that you would have for them as far as their faith?
I would tell them to keep trusting in God, because God loves everyone and He is really concerned for all His children, and that to make right choices. Don't let anybody discourage you from serving Jesus. He is our protector, and each one has an angel, and just don't disappoint the Holy Spirit or the angel, because our goal is heaven. And just stay close to Jesus and hold on to your faith.
Wonderful. Auntie Joyce, thank you for sharing.
Okay, thank you. That's it? Okay.
That's it. That's it. All right, with me here, I have Horst Sokolis, who is one of our members at Henderson Highway Church, and you've been here for a while. We wanted to ask you a few questions, Brother Sokolis. What was your experience as a young person? How did you get to know Jesus?
Well, my parents became already Adventists. I came from Germany in 1955 here to Winnipeg, and my parents became Adventists in about 1927, and so I was brought up in the church. Of course, there was the Second World War, and there was no church for many years, and we were refugees. And then after, when we found a church, and we went to church, and there was only Sabbath school and the sermon, and there were no children Sabbath schools. And after 1948, when there was some paper available for printing Sabbath school lessons, and people just had this Sabbath school lesson, and we children didn't have any special lesson. We just listened in with the adults, and so I decided already that I would follow Jesus. I believe in God, and so when I came here in 1955 with my mother, and then I had a sister here as well, and I was the youngest of the whole bunch.
Okay.
I had 4 siblings, and we were in the church. Of course, there in Europe there was a little different. Here you see people dressed up when they go on a bicycle in sports clothes or so. In Europe, you might have a very suit and you go on a bicycle. We most of the time we went by bicycle to church. And when I came here to Winnipeg, there were 3 churches. There was the Young Street Church. I think that's what became this church here.
Yes.
And then there was the Ukrainian church, and there was the German church, which was on Mountain Andrews. And that's where I got baptized in 1956 on the 18th of February.
Wow.
And the German church existed for many years. At peak one time they had 120 members. And from the Ukraine there was no people coming, immigrants coming in, so they declined. They got smaller and smaller, and the children learned English, and so they finally, I think, they closed it. It was on McGregor, and German church was on Mountain and Andrews.
Okay. So the German church building still is there.
Yeah.
Of course, now it's the Mountain Andrews All Nations Seventh-day Adventist Church, so that is still there. So you've been here in Winnipeg for 69 years.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of changes.
I'm an old Winnipegger, I could say.
Yeah.
You know, and when we came here, I just want to mention it, we didn't have cars then. We just came here, so we used the bus, and you gave the bus driver a quarter, and he gave you 2 tickets, and one you threw in the box, and the other one you had for your return trip.
Oh, wow.
So
For a
that's
whole quarter?
12.5 cents for a trip.
Wow. That's amazing, because now it's about $3.
Yeah.
I think, for a trip. So a lot has definitely changed.
Yeah, and Winnipeg was much smaller.
Yes.
I remember Windsor Park was built, and Garden City was built up. So the city grew bigger and bigger, and so that the Adventist Church.
Yes.
Then I heard first some rumors. I said, there was a church for sale in St. James, and the Adventists were interested in buying this church. And so they finally it came through, and they bought the church which is now the Silver Heights Church.
Yes.
That was that time the next church, and then out of this church here became the Korean church and the Spanish church. So we got more and more churches.
Yes.
And we also had the Central Church, which actually, if I was in good shape, I could walk from my home.
Yes, it's very close to you.
Yeah, but now I can't walk very well anymore. And I'm a member here in this church, so I come as much as I can to this church. And the message is preached here every Sabbath. And we have two good pastors to give us this message. And I would encourage all the young people to listen in what is preached, and to learn this Sabbath school lesson, participate in lesson discussions. You learn a lot from the Sabbath school lesson.
Yes. And as we heard from your story, when you were growing up, you didn't even have Sabbath school books and or classes.
You see that was the war, and there was no paper available for this. I remember the first adult Sabbath school class that was just the size of a bigger notebook. But just a few questions and comments. But I like to go to church, and I had made up my mind a long time ago, and so I never rebelled or left the church. And so my sons too, they stayed in the church.
Yes. One of them we know very well. That's Rex, who is our head elder. And so what a testament and what a blessing it is for you to see your family grow and for you to choose to stay dedicated to Jesus and to watch the blessings that have come out of that life.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know you're still young at heart. We saw you this past week during Vacation Bible School, but you didn't climb the rock wall.
No, that's something beyond my capability now.
That's okay.
I don't even kneel down anymore because I get cramps in the legs
Yes.
when I kneel down.
But
so I
yes.
sit down when I pray.
And God still hears our prayers, whether we're kneeling
Yeah.
or whether we're sitting. Thank you, Brother Sokolis, for sharing with us and for giving some guidance and some wisdom to the young people. Take advantage of the Sabbath school classes that you have and the materials that you have, because at one time, some of our members didn't even have access to paper. And now every age group that we have study classes for, there are guides for them available. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Brother Sokolis. We are glad that you're here, and we're glad that we can celebrate with you on Senior Sabbath.
Yeah, thank you very much.